Everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series. Hope everybody's doing well, and thanks for making us a part of your day today. I hope you're in the mood for some terrific conversation and some invaluable information that we have about skincare. Yes, for women and men of all ages. It's never too early or too late to take care of your health and your well-being, mind, body, and spirit, including your skin. That's right. And we've got an expert. We've got board certified dermatologist, renowned skincare expert, and author of the Skincare Hoax, Fayne Frey, MD. Dr. Frey is going to be here on the show, coming to us from New York, and she is dispelling all the myths, all the rumors about skincare. If you have been spending lots of money on those potions and those wrinkle creams and all those lotions, hoping that overnight something magical is going to happen, and you keep spending all that money, and you're like, I'm spending a lot of money and something's not working here. I'm trying this, I'm trying that. And it gets to be so overwhelming because if you go down the aisles of the pharmacies and of the supermarkets, there are hundreds and hundreds of products. There are so many different things that you can almost give up. It's such a blur, and it can be overwhelming, truly overwhelming. So she is here to sort of dispel all that, make it easier for you to understand and to really start a regimen that will get your skin maybe back to the way it was. The Jim Masters Show right here. Our special guest, Dr. Fayne Frey, is here, board certified dermatologist, author of the Skincare Hoax. Tell you a little bit about her. She's extraordinary. Again, she's coming to us from New York. This is the #1 new release in health, mind, and body on Amazon. Dr. Frey, nationally renowned dermatologist, breaks down the skincare industry's myths and hype, and she provides solid scientific information on skincare products in the new book, The Skincare Hoax: How You're Being Tricked into Buying Those Lotions, Potions, and Wrinkle Cream. Every day, in fact, 4,000 to 10,000 times per day, according to Forbes, women see ads from skincare products that send the subliminal message, if I'm not good enough the way I am, so spend the money on the miracle lotions, potions, and creams that promise to make them look radiant, glowing, and 10 years younger, but often add to the profits of the $500 billion cosmetics industry. What's really in that pricey jar of age-defying skin cream? Well, this #1 new release in health, mind, and body category on Amazon is a skincare myth buster. The Skincare Hoax: How You're Being Tricked into Buying Lotions, Potions, and Wrinkle Cream really is incredible. It leverages Dr. Frey's scientific expertise and 30 years of experience as a board certified dermatologist to give women and even men too. Hey, the guys are taking care of their skin now more than ever. You don't have to be in the public eye. You don't have to be a TV and radio host or personality to do it. A lot of people just want to get healthy. And she's giving some incredible information about ways to make things safer, healthier, and better informed as far as decisions about skincare products to buy. The first step is the reality check, and that's to find out whether your current products support healthy skin. And we're going to talk about all of that, and it's just really incredible. What's worth the price? What's not? You're going to have lots of incredible, invaluable information in this health and wellness episode of the Jim Masters Show Live, lifestyle episode of the program. We're going to talk about this and so much more, and it's my pleasure, again, to have her here on the show. You see on the screen, there is the book as well, and the cover of the book. We're going to talk about that. If you have a question, gang, the doctor is in the house. If you have a question maybe about a regimen that you've been doing, or maybe you have not been really taking care of your skin for a while, and then you're looking in the mirror and saying, gee, what has happened here? Stress, diet, pollution, all of this comes into play, and you run to the doctor, and sometimes, you don't get the answer you want because maybe you're not even going to the right kind of doctor or physician or medical expert. She's a board certified dermatologist. She works in skin. Skin has been her life, and it's no skin off her back to be here on the show. And she's also very funny. We had each other laughing before we went live on the air. And when you're working with the public, you have to have a sense of humor on many different levels, and she really does. But she is a trained expert. Let me tell you again, there is the book, The Skincare Hoax. It's going to be very eye-opening, very revealing, but also very approachable, this conversation. So you have a question or two, feel free to type it in. Now, again, we have our JMS Lovely live chat room available. We've got a chat room that's available when the show is live. And that means that if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the channel you're watching right now, Jim Masters TV, like, comment, and subscribe. We would love that. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe, but when you do, you have an exclusive opportunity to chat with each other, maybe post a question. We might even put a comment or two on the screen as well. So feel free. And don't forget, you can do super chat, super emoji, super stickers, which supports what we're doing here. And also super thanks here on the Jim Masters Show Live. So I see a lot of comments already built up. That is fantastic. With that, coming to us live and direct from New York, join me in welcoming our very special guest, Dr. Fayne Frey, board-certified dermatologist, skincare expert, and author of The Skincare Hoax. Isn't that a great name? Sort of draws you right in. You want to know what that hoax is and if you're being hoaxed. Here she is. Welcome, Doctor. It's a pleasure to have you here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. What a gracious, introduction. I appreciate that.
Your mom faxed it to us in the morning and she said, read it verbatim or else.
Knowing my mom, that is a possibility.
Yours and mine, exactly. Welcome to the show. Such a great topic, not just because we're coming upon that time of the year where people start wrapping up their year and looking about starting things anew in the new year, but also taking care of your skin is so essential on so many different levels. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of different things that can impact overall skincare, right? Tell us about some of the things and some of the mistakes we make and some of those myths that we have about skincare.
Well, first, people have to realize that the skincare industry is a great industry. Jim, they make great products. I don't want to sit here and villainize the skincare industry. It's a great industry. It hires people. It makes products that are truly good for you. But the problem with the skincare industry is they're selling a blind item. So the most important information on any skincare product that you see on these aisles is the ingredient listing. But the average consumer doesn't understand the ingredients. They don't understand cetyl alcohol and triethanolamine and isopropyl myristate. So we have a blind item. And so it leads to confusion. How do you select? What do you need? What don't you need? So people don't know. So they rely on their friends, or they might look at a magazine, or they might listen to the media. And so the skincare companies are advocating for themselves, which is what they should do, right, as a healthy business, and their shareholders. And the media is advocating for the media, right? They want the audience, they want the ad dollars. And so nobody's advocating for the consumer for this blind item. And that's sort of the problem. So after leveraging my expertise and my chemistry background and my 30 years of experience in dermatology, I decided to put it all in a book, as you mentioned, called The Skincare Hoax, and to try to clarify and, most importantly, to advocate for the consumer.
I would imagine, too, being a board-certified dermatologist all these years and working with people on many different levels. I know you're an expert in the treatment of skin cancer as well, but working with people on different levels and at different times in their life on achieving, good, healthy skincare, that it probably was frustrating you when people sometimes would come in and they would be very open and honest that they've tried all these different things and they've been spending all of this money. And that probably was also an additional inspiration for you to want to write the book, to want to connect with people and sort of set things straight as far as what really is good and what really works and what might not work as well.
That is true. I have to let you know that, the consumer doesn't know a lot about the laws that drive the industry. So I get to see, like you said, in my office on a daily basis, people coming in, men and women, feeling inadequate, in particular about a perceived flaw on their skin. But what people have to realize is these are cosmetics. And in this country, we have laws, and the law states that any manufacturer that makes a particular product and intends for that product to really change a structure or function of the skin, or any organ, but in this case, the skin, by law, that has to be a drug and go through the FDA. It has to prove efficacy, safety, and get pre-market approval. All the products I talk about, the anti-aging creams and the lotions and the potions and the eye creams and the night creams, these are cosmetics. And as cosmetics, they don't intend to permanently change the structure or function of the skin. They intend to adorn the skin, to beautify, if you will. So you can see where the confusion comes from and why people go from product to product to product. These products are not designed to permanently change the skin. They can't by law in the United States.
That's very important too, the legal aspect to all of it and promises made and things of that nature. It's so true. In our daily lives, we don't think about that part, but it's a good thing to remind ourselves of. You know, Obviously, I said and congratulations, #1 release in the health and mind category on Amazon. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it shot right to #1?
I asked myself that. I'm very grateful. I think the underlying message, although I talk about the skincare industry, I think our underlying message is mostly to keep your priorities, not necessarily think that the wrinkle is really the enemy, and to like yourself for who you are. And I think that's really resonating with people. I
Yeah.
do tell that story through the skincare industry and the facts and the laws and the formulation exercises. But I think the underlying message is really one of priorities. And I think that's what's really resonating with people.
See, that's really important for people to realize as well. I mean, in this book, The Skincare Hoax, you expose, as I mentioned a little bit in the introduction, myths that are promoted by the skincare industry purely, obviously they want to sell more products, they're for-profit business, that makes sense. But sometimes even more of the pricier products. Now, have you coming out and sharing this vital and authentic information for the good of all of us and the greater good of society, have you encountered any sort of maybe pushback from skincare manufacturers or other
Mhm.
dermatologists because of your commitment to informing and empowering consumers with these important and vital facts?
Just the opposite. I have been received a lot of my colleagues. I'm getting phone calls. Thank you for saying this. Consumers have been loving it. Cosmetic chemists have been applauding some of my work. And the bigger, more reputable companies, which are the products that I recommend, because they have the resources to make safe and effective products that are available and affordable. They also come to my office and offer the samples that we use to not only let our patients try, but test in the office objectively with the machines we have to test water content. So I like to test to make sure products are really working. And we've been doing that a really long time. I mean, for decades, I've been testing products. So we know not only what feels good, but what works.
In the food industry, sometimes some of the wording and the way things are presented, low calorie, low fat, new and improved, all these different words, healthy and organic, and a lot of different things. Sometimes when you look behind the labels, it's more marketing than it is reality. In your book, you state that skincare products touted as dermatologist tested aren't
Mhm,
necessarily better. Tell us about why that is. And as a dermatologist, I imagine
mhm.
there are standards you use to determine a skincare product's effectiveness.
Well, remember I said the most important information is on the ingredient listing? You don't
Yes.
understand that, right? So that leaves the front panel as marketing real estate. And there's a whole slew of terms that we use on the front or companies use on the front that get consumers to buy. You mentioned dermatologists tested. I ask you, who's this dermatologist? Is it the very same dermatologist that's selling the product? Is it one dermatologist? Is it 10 dermatologists? Did they test it on themselves? Did they test it on 10 people, 20 people? Maybe if the budget allows 50 people. There's no federal guideline or standard for that particular term. But there's a whole bunch of those terms on the fronts of skincare labels, because the front panel is mostly marketing real estate.
Exactly, exactly. Um, would you be able to share maybe a few commonly used but sort of meaningless marketing terms on skincare product labels and packaging that
Sure.
consumers really, starting right now should look out for?
Oh, my favorite is aging, anti-aging.
Anti-aging, yes,
That's the most brilliant one, in my
yes.
opinion, right? Science hasn't found a single ingredient to reverse the aging process for a product that we talked about can't
The only thing
intend
that's
to
truly
change the skin.
anti-aging is death.
Well,
That's what stops aging,
that will
right?
stop it to a halt.
That's the true anti-aging. So you
That
don't
is.
want complete anti-aging.
Right. So remember, these are cosmetics. They don't really intend to change the skin permanently. We don't have a cure for aging. Doesn't exist yet. So in my opinion, that's the most brilliant marketing term, anti-aging, age defying.
Yeah.
Um, that's a popular one.
Yes,
Um,
age defying. Mhm.
mhm. Nourishing, that's another good one.
Oh, that word, yeah.
Nourishing, right? The top layers of skin are dead. You can't
Right.
nourish dead tissue.
You're exactly right. Yes,
Right?
that's right. So your skin is like a baby's bottom by the time you're done spending all this money. I know it's really amazing. You're also finding. I know a lot of women, of course, are very in tune with this, but a lot of guys now are very privy to and understanding the importance of good skincare. They want to look good, so you're probably seeing over the years more and more guys coming to the dermatologist with questions about skincare and skin regimens and
Sure.
wanting to look um, good or better or just healthier. There's some people who say they want to look younger, and then there's others who say they just want to look
Mhm,
healthy, alert, and refreshed.
mhm.
And I think that's better when you look like you're with it. You're healthy, you're alert, you're refreshed versus trying to look like you're still 11 years old. That's not so good. So you have a lot of the guys, the gentlemen that are coming in as well, right?
Sure, men are interested in looking their optimum best, but Jim, you know it. The healthy skin parallels a healthy body, and a healthy
Yes.
body is, it's not the sexy answer, but you know the answer. It's good nights of sleep, and it's exercise, and it's diet.
Stress
You know,
reduction.
yeah, sunscreen every day is. I'm a huge proponent of sunscreen. But the male products, the products for men, this is fascinating. They're formulated just like every other moisturizer, except the packaging is usually darker, right?
Yes.
Male products, they come in a male kind of dark looking package. And also they like a spicier fragrance. What is it with you guys? You like that spicy fragrance. But aside from that, it's very much the same ingredient listing.
There's a variety is the spice of life or something like that. So they say. Based on your expertise, doctor, and again, this is a great conversation. We welcome everybody who's watching from around the world. If you have a question for the doctor while the show is live, feel free to post a question in our lovely chat room, and maybe we'll see if we can answer that as well. But based on your expertise, are any of the specialized skincare products sold exclusively at spas or by dermatologists
Yeah.
worth the price? There's real specialized products.
Well, again, that's a lot of marketing, and most of these specialized products are moisturizers, and the
Yes.
packaging may be very nice. Perhaps that's why they're more costly. But from our research, there's no correlation between what you spend on a moisturizer and how well it works. So if it's a cosmetic and they're selling it at a spa, if you like the packaging and you want it to sit on your vanity because you like how it looks and you don't have to mortgage your house and you're aware that it's just a moisturizer, you have every right to go ahead and get it. But there's certainly there's no need to.
I feel like the packaging and it looks nice on your vanity.
Right.
It might be better to just reupholster the couch.
Well, that's an option.
That'll last longer.
But think about what people are spending for some of these products, right? A lot of
Yeah.
these fancy anti-aging products, they come in 1 ounce jars. So an
Yes.
ounce is a shot glass. And that
Yes.
ounce could run $300. Now there's 16 ounces in a pound. So you do the math, it's about $4,800 a pound for a $300 jar. I mean, I can't think of any perishable I'd even consider spending $4,800 a pound on, but there are people who do it. And again, I'm not opposed to them doing it if they're educated and they realize that that product is not necessarily more effective.
Right,
Then they
exactly.
have every right to go ahead and do that. But to think it's going to be better, more effective because it's more expensive, that's a big mistake.
Right, exactly. A lot of people have that in the mindset, which isn't necessarily the case. Now, obviously, there are different skin types, right? Is the skin type related to the color of the tone of a person's skin or to the person's
Mhm.
age or all of the above?
Well, that's a great question. When you're in medical school and you go to dermatology residency programs, we learn about skin types, which are called Fitzpatrick types. And this has to do with how well you tan and how well you burn, or if you burn. And this information is useful because it gives the doctor a sense of your risk of skin cancer.
Yeah.
But out there in the marketing realm, we've come up with all kinds of skin types, which to me seem arbitrary: dry, oily, in between. The ingredients don't necessarily know the difference. And one single face could be dry in some parts and oily in another. And in July, you might be oily, but in January, you might be dry. So everybody's individual. I think when you have dry skin, you need to moisturize. When you have oily skin, you probably don't need to moisturize. So it's a lot of it is marketing. A lot of it is marketing.
Is one better than the other? I always heard that you have to control skin when it's oily, but in the long run, it's better to have oilier skin because you won't wrinkle as quickly as time goes on because the oil actually helps you. Is there truth to that?
I don't know of any association between the development of wrinkles and the amount of oil you produce.
Did you hear that, folks? Another myth busted on the Jim
Bust them
Masters
away.
show. She's got underneath, you don't see her hands, but she's got these boxing gloves busting these myths away one after the other. It is busting them away. Um, what would you say the skincare industry, what can they do to become more diverse and inclusive as well, which is important? What's your opinion on the rise of skincare products targeted also to men?
um, like I said, they're a business. Skincare companies want market share, and they will find their population. That's what they do. They create demand. They'll find the population they want to sell to, and they will sell to that. That's their job. They're a business. And so I'm not going to tell them, they're doing what they should be doing. My goal is to educate the consumer. Now, I want the consumer to be so mindful of the influences that these ads are having and that these marketing is having, that they're a really smart consumer.
Yes, you're right. Exactly. Um, Toby's in California. She had asked, what's the significance, if any, of people that get those skin peels where their face doesn't look so great for about 5 days or so as you're recovering from the chemical peels and the deeper peels? How do you feel about things of that nature? There's the treatments that are out there.
Well, those are medical treatments. Those aren't treatments that you get in a bottle at a cosmetic store. My interest is mostly cosmetics. There are medical reasons to do peels. Again, I think people should love themselves for who they are, and if you're going to spend time, energy, and money on a procedure that's going to remove the surface of your face, I think you ought to have a reason to do that. I don't think the benefit outweighs the risk just to do it to do it. But again, if you have an inflammatory skin condition, there are conditions, pigmentary issues that some people use these kinds of peels, but that's not done with cosmetics. Those are done with acid peels in the hands of a skin expert.
Right, exactly. There's folks that are specializing in that area. Thanks for that
Yeah.
question, Toby, watching, and we appreciate that. Also in the skincare hoax, and again, congratulations on the success of this book thus far. It's just really unbelievable that it's number one. You present the skincare and beauty industry as symptomatic of a culture obsessed. And sometimes we've talked about this on the show,
Mhm.
culture that's obsessed with physical appearance and attractiveness to an unhealthy degree, comparing themselves to the Kardashians, to celebrities, toward everybody else. Social media has brought a whole new way of thinking about this. People looking at very filtered, doctored photos on Instagram, and where then you see the person in the supermarket, and they don't look even a tenth like the photo that they posted. There's
That's
and
true.
everybody wants to look like that. What can be done on a practical level, maybe to shift society in a less superficial direction? And what can skincare product manufacturers themselves, while they're still doing what they're doing,
Mhm.
help in this cause, support this shift, this mindset shift?
Well, look, the beauty industry objectifies people because that's how they make their money. If they didn't objectify people, they wouldn't exist, right?
Right, right.
And we have an unrealistic and unobtainable idea of beauty. That's historical. That's our culture. Beauty is defined as tall and thin and young. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but youth is not an accomplishment. It's just not. And I think we need to readjust how we feel about the aging process. And it's a process. Somewhere along the line, it's become a battle, but it's really a beautiful process. You ask people who are older, if you knew 30 years ago what you know today, and they'll all say, wow, life would be different. That's aging. That's the wisdom and the benefit that comes with aging. But our culture, for some reason, doesn't emphasize that. We emphasize the physicality. And, pardon the pun, but they say don't judge a book by its cover. But that's all the culture seems to do. And the skincare industry can certainly take advantage of that.
Right. That's so true. What was the writing process like for you? A lot of times, having done writing myself and interviewing a lot of folks that are writers and authors, sometimes a lot of people say that the hardest part is just putting the first few, words on paper, getting going, getting that flow going. And then some will say, knowing when it's finished, knowing when you could put the period on the
Mhm.
last word on the last sentence, knowing when and there might be rewrites and things of that nature, but knowing when you're comfortable enough for the book to be done, where it then can go out to the public. And then I actually was very surprised. I had one person say, who wrote a book recently, they said the middle for them was the hardest. I said, really? I never heard that before. And they said, well, it's because I know what I want to start with. I know what I wanted to end with, but how to link the beginning and the end together was difficult for you. What was the writing process like for you in putting the book together?
Well, I had a huge advantage in that I've been contributing to online magazines. The Doctor Weighs In, and now the 50 Plus Today, which is a great senior 50 plus magazine. If anybody has a chance to sign up for that one, it's a great little magazine. So I've been writing and accumulating a lot of this information for a long time. So for me to put it together, I had a lot of the information already. And fortunately, I did a lot of it during COVID. And so where people were home in front of their computers. And if I needed to make phone calls, it was in that regard, it was a very simple, it was easier, I think, because I was home. So for me, I think that part was simpler. As far as the content, again, because I had been writing and sharing my expertise for so many years, I had a lot of the content. My issue was it a book? And I had
Mm,
actually met with some people who told me, no, it's not a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. But I felt I had to advocate for the consumer. I was talking to a woman about a night cream, and I said, why do you use a night cream? And she says, well, it has the ingredients for night. And I said, well, if you work the night shift, do you need a day cream? I mean, I said, do you really think you need a night cream? It made no sense. It's the same ingredients that was in the day cream, except it didn't have sunscreen in it. So, I knew I had to advocate for the consumer because the consumer just didn't understand this formulation process like I did. So the challenge I had was putting it in the words where it wasn't written like a medical text.
right,
And that was
exactly.
my biggest challenge.
Yeah, in layman's terms, so it's easily digestible, and then they can take the information, they can apply it, almost immediately, which I think is really not always easy to master, but you were able
Mhm.
to with this, which is absolutely fantastic. Something else too that comes to mind is um, maybe there are some ways that the skincare manufacturers can shift some of the practices so they can become more environmentally friendly and health
Sure.
conscious. How do you feel about that? And how can they do that?
Well, their ingredients should be safe. Their ingredients should be, we say, sustainable. They should be biodegradable. The same with the packaging. Their inserts and their labeling should be straightforward in a language that's clear to the consumer. If there are warnings, they should be on there and clear about them. And marketing should be transparent, and it should be based on valid science. So I think the best skincare companies do less promotion and they do more education. Offer the consumer the education and let them pick. People are smart when you give them the information.
Absolutely right. And sometimes that's the key is information. And sometimes they get the wrong information, or they get, like I said earlier in the introduction, it can be an extreme, overwhelming, daunting thing when you go down the health and beauty aisle of a pharmacy or a supermarket and
Mhm.
you see product after product after product. It can be expensive, but just overwhelming. You almost feel like, am I supposed to get everything? Or you probably have people that come into your office and they're like, I don't know what to do, doctor. I'm so
Right?
confused by it all.
Because it's a blind item. You don't know what's in it. When you see a ketchup bottle, you know what the tomato is and what the oil is and the salt, or, you know what the ingredient listing is. You recognize those terms, but you don't recognize the terms in a skincare product. So it's truly a blind item. So I will tell you, get a sunscreen, get a sunscreen, and get a sunscreen and put it on every single day. Like you brush your teeth every day. You don't think about it. You just brush your teeth. That's what sunscreen should be like every single day on all exposed skin. Now in New York, there's not a lot of exposed skin, right? We have the face, the neck, the hands, back of the hands, and maybe the ears. It's not a lot, but every single day. And that's what I encourage my patients to do.
I've actually heard that. I've heard that from people. The sunscreen is, people think only summertime when they're going to Florida or when they're going to the beach, but the
Mhm.
winter time and the winter sun can be just as, debilitating for the skin. It's a 365 situation. It's not just sunscreen when you go outside and swim in the ocean or go on a picnic or go toss the ball around. It's one of the greatest things you can do for yourself, right?
Right. Most people get most of their sun just incidentally, walking to their car, going to the food store, back to their car. I have patients, I say, I wear it when I go to the beach. And of course, I say, well, how many days a year do you go to the beach? And they say, well, maybe two. And I say, what about the other 363 days a year? That's when
Right,
you're getting a lot of sun. So
right.
it's the sun doesn't care, it'll shine on your face whether you're in a chaise lounge or whether you're walking to your mailbox to get the mail.
How do you feel about moisturizers? Some people have said, even to me, oh, you've got to use a moisturizer every single night religiously. Don't skip it. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. When you brush your
Yeah.
teeth and wash your face in the evening, moisturize, sometimes moisturize in the morning, depending on the kind.
Mhm.
Are you a big proponent of moisturizing regularly?
Well, look, skin is functioning optimally when it's hydrated, when there's adequate water content. But when your skin is dry, you see the flakes. So if you have dry skin, by all means, moisturize. But
Yeah.
again, in July, when it's very humid in New York, anyway, I don't know where people have to adjust based on their locations. If it's very humid, there are folks who just don't have to moisturize. The skin is well hydrated. The skin can actually take moisture from the environment on very humid days. So if the skin is dry, then yes, it should be moisturized. And all those products that we talked about, the night creams and the anti-aging creams and the eye creams and the age defying creams, those are all really formulated like moisturizers. And how well they work is really more dependent on how well they function as moisturizers. So to answer your question, a good moisturizer, if you're dry, is ideal. But is it absolutely necessary every single day? And not, in my opinion, not if the skin is not dry.
What would you say are maybe just a few simple, basic practices that one can even start right now that
Mhm.
everybody can apply to sort of help maintain skin health? You mentioned sunscreen being one of them. I've always heard too, make sure you drink enough water. A lot of
Mhm.
people are very dehydrated. They're not drinking, they have the cup of coffee. the tea in the morning, and they'll say, well, there's water in that, but that's
Yeah.
not necessarily the same kind of thing, right?
Well, I'm going to answer your question. The most important thing that you can do for your skin is to apply sunscreen. And the second most important thing to do is to apply sunscreen. And the third most important thing to do is to apply sunscreen. And that is, I think we can base that on science. As far as water is concerned, you don't need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. You need to be hydrated. And if you're a healthy person, your body has an incredible way of telling you need water, and that means you feel thirsty. And I'm not talking about people who have kidney stones or who are sick. I'm talking about if you really, if you're a healthy person, if your body wants water, you'll know, you'll feel thirsty. And you get a lot of your water through your diet, right? You
Yeah,
do need water, but if you have fruits and vegetables in a pretty good amount in your daily diet, you can get 20 or up to 30% of your water requirement in your food.
that's
So,
right.
if you eat a nutritious diet full of fruits and vegetables, you don't have to force feed yourself water.
You know, obviously, we all have our life's journey and we all have reasons why we do what we do. And if we get to do work that really speaks to who we are and allows us to connect with people, and in this case, help people from a medical point of view as well, which really ties in the mind, body, and spirit, especially with dermatology. What when you were looking at the things that you wanted to do going into the medical field, what was it about dermatology specifically that attracted you, that sort of spoke to your heart and soul? And what do you feel is a few of the most meaningful aspects of the work that
Mhm.
you do?
That's a good question. I think I was drawn to dermatology because of the people who were in it at the time. I was doing research at Rockefeller University in New York, and I met some very, very talented scientists: Alice Gottlieb, Martin Carter, and Al Kopf, who was a melanoma expert. I loved the variety of derm that we see in dermatology. It was challenging. I got to treat patients, men, women, babies, children. It involved procedures with my hands, and by far the most enjoyable aspect is dealing with the patients on a daily basis.
I have a question from Kathleen, who is in New York City. She just wanted to know briefly, from your perspective as the expert, what's the best thing for dry, flaky skin?
So the best thing for dry, flaky skin, a great question, is a well-formulated moisturizer. And I have a website called Fry Face. I don't sell anything. I don't represent a skincare manufacturer, but we created this website, Fry Face, FRYFACE, so people could go and pick products that we have tested that are effective at raising water content of skin. So to answer the question, if you have dry, flaky skin, go get a good, well formulated moisturizer from a reputable skincare company. I'm talking nationally and internationally known brands because they have the best resources, the best ingredients. They hire chemists, environmentalists. They have the resources to make safe, effective, and affordable products that are available everywhere. And that's what we offer on the website.
Let's get about the website and some of the things that the website offers.
The website it started as a product selector just to help people pick product. Jim, you said it. People go to the aisles and they're just overwhelmed. So we
Yes,
started testing products and we started offering the ones that we knew worked. And then we created a blog because people wanted to know a little bit more about the science and formulation. And so there was a blog that was added, which is really more for information.
that's fantastic. I think that's great. You got a lot of different resources here: product selectors, books, the blog, key topics, things of that nature. Are
Mhm.
you always updating that?
Yes, and we had I had a blog post about once a month, and the products themselves are constantly being updated as we test them. And some products are taken off the market and new ones come in. So we try, we test the new products. And so the product selector is updated on a regular basis as well. Jim, we lost your audio.
microphone sort of muted itself.
Okay, now you're back.
It
I lost
it's
you for a minute.
it's so overwhelmed by the conversation. Uh, I was speechless. The, uh, the website which we're showing is really fantastic. It is so user friendly. And we were saying you just scroll down and you see all the different things that are here. And popular topics seem to be sun facts, anti-aging, and what do I really need? Those are some of the most popular topics, huh?
Yes, yes. No, we have a lot of visitors, and it's a good educational tool for the consumer. In full transparency, we do get 4% as an Amazon affiliate, and to date,
Sure.
that's all been donated to a Melanoma Education Foundation charity.
That's beautiful. And again, it's FRYFACE.com.
Mhm.
Even though her name is FREY, it's FRYFace.com to get to that
Right.
site and access all the great information there as well. I do want
Mm.
to make mention too that you are an expert when it comes to skin cancer as well. Going for skin yearly annual exams is really essentially important, not even having to be somebody who lives in an area where there's been lots of sun exposure. You know, you might have been a sun worshiper 30 years ago,
Mhm.
but just taking the time to be checked can be life-saving. And I'm sure you've had a lot of instances where maybe you've discovered
Mhm.
something with your patient, looked into it further, and it was, potentially life-saving.
Yeah, the bulk of my work is the diagnosis and treatment of skin cancer. And at the very least, people should be checking themselves. And they don't have to know what it is when they find something, but if they do find something and it's changing in any way, size, shape, or color, they ought to seek dermatologic care. Like you said, if skin cancer when you gotten early is very treatable. When it's not gotten early, sometimes it's not treatable. So um, my advice is to check yourself once a month, and if you find anything new or changing, like I said, you should seek medical attention.
Are there any new trends, anything that you see that's happening that's groundbreaking, anything that's encouraging in the skincare industry
Mhm.
right now, sort of on the cutting edge?
Well, I see a emphasis of wellness over beauty amongst consumers, which is excites me very much.
Yes.
And I do see people applying sunscreen more and more every single day. That excites me very much as well. So those are two really nice and simplifying. And people say, "What do I really need?" I'm like, "Well, you need a simple skincare regimen, and you don't have to spend a lot of money for it." And I think more and more consumers are getting more on that wellness bandwagon. They're all worried about chemicals. Well, then don't use so many products. That's a simple answer. And I think that's a really big trend amongst a lot of certainly in my circles. But that's again what I draw because that's my philosophy.
Now, would you encourage women to turn away from skincare products entirely? And if so,
Mhm.
is there an alternative? What's your view on some of those homemade skincare remedies?
Well, to answer your first question, you can have fun with skincare. They're like sprinkles on an ice cream cone. They're fun and they're colorful and they make you feel good. And if you like them, enjoy them. But you don't need them as long as that's clear. So I tell people if you like sprinkles on your ice cream cone and you enjoy those fancy bottles, just have realistic expectations. You asked about the do-it-yourself product. I'm not for those, and the reason that is most people don't have the formulation expertise to create products that are safe because they don't use preservatives. And any water-based product, and most people are but like manufacturing products with water in it. Within 11, 12, 13 days, they get overgrown with bacteria and mold and fungus. So it's not necessarily a safe idea to try to create your own concoctions at home. So I discourage it.
Maureen is watching and she said, besides going through buckets of sunscreen, she lives in Arizona. So she's got that desert sun. Is there a way to prevent age spots on her hands? And is there a way to get rid of the ones that she has?
Mm. Well, sunscreen is the best preventive. And there is some evidence, science done by Adele Green in Australia, that shows if you use the sunscreen, the spots you have can actually decrease. You can actually get improvement. There are medical techniques, there's peels and lasers to help lighten those dark spots. But again, prevention is worth an ounce of cure. So sunscreen, 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 give it some time, and don't get the exposure from midday sun. And I think over time, you might see some improvement.
She also asked, do you recommend a sunscreen with a particular SPF?
The recommended is 30 or higher, but that's if it's applied liberally. So if you don't apply it enough, you're not going to get the 30. So I use a 70. In case I skimp or I get lazy, I make sure I have enough SPF. I think the higher the better. But the recommendation is an SPF of 30 or higher by the American Academy of Dermatology, and I happen to agree with that. Applied daily and applied liberally.
That's fantastic. Good information that you're imparting for our viewers here watching from around the world. Really cool stuff. Well, what would you like? Is there a takeaway from the book that you would like readers to absorb and apply to their daily life? And where can they get the book? Amazon, of course, one of those places. Tell us first about the takeaways, the things you hope that people are left with the book.
I think people need to be to have a little attitude adjustment. I think we need a philosophy change. I think people need to love themselves for who they are. I think aging is going to be a process, not a battle. I think people have to realize, and I hope after this pandemic, that the things that matter, health matters, and accomplishments matter, and kindness matters. And none of those things come in a bottle or a tube. And I think a simple skincare regimen that you don't have to spend money for, because like we said, there's no correlation between what you pay and how things work. That's really the takeaway. The book, you can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, and hopefully wherever books are sold.
So it's in Target and Walmart and all those places too, huh?
Well, they're pre-ordering through there. I hope they're in the stores. That would be a nice dream for me. But of course, if you want them, you can order them online through those outlets.
That's fantastic. Great holiday gift as well. That is awesome. That's really, what are some of the blessings and joys in your life that propel you to continue doing the extraordinary work that you're doing for the good of everybody else, Doc?
Oh, I've been so blessed, Jim. I have a family that I wouldn't trade for the world. I think my husband and I would agree. Our four greatest gifts are our four kids, and my son, who's married to this absolutely dream young lady. I've been blessed with great teachers, colleagues, extended family, and a good attitude. I think I'm just grateful. I think to hang on to gratitude, add a little humor, and not to take life too seriously. I'm very grateful. That's
somebody that agrees with that is Mr. George Burns, who always joins us at the latter part of our conversations. And look at his skin, not bad for 100 and whatever now.
Yeah, he said if he knew he lived that long, he would have taken better care of himself.
Right. still with those cigars and those martinis. He pops in. My aunt collected dolls and real serious collector. And this got passed down to me. So he pops in towards the latter part, and he just said he thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, learned a lot. He sends his love from him and from Gracie. And this was really cool. Puts a smile on people's faces when they see, like you said, humor, levity. If you got some smile lines, that's a good thing. That means you're enjoying life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't go around without any smile lines.
No, smile. I'm the ultimate wrinkle defender. I like those wrinkles. To me, it's a footprint for happiness.
Right, exactly. Kathleen, that's great. Yeah, in New York City, I use the highest SPF I can find since she burns very easily. She's got the lighter skin, which is really fantastic. So good stuff. And she thanks you for being here as well. And all the viewers have been thanking you and jotting down notes. Again, here's that website, folks, fryface.com. Here is the book. Hopefully some of the information that we shared with you on this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series sort of broke down the myths, made it very approachable with the doctor. The Skincare Hoax, how you're being tricked into buying lotions, potions, and wrinkle cream. And now maybe you'll be a little bit more cautious and maybe wary, and or at least you'll look a little bit more deeply into it as you're going down those very blurry aisles of the pharmacy, health and beauty area, and the supermarkets, and so much more, because the doctor has armed you with some good, solid information. And you like to do that, right? You like to really arm people with useful information
Sure.
they can take in practical ways into their daily living, right?
I do. I think education is key. I need consumers to realize, you're awesome the way you are. A little education, and I think that goes far.
It really, really does. Thanks for joining us on the show. I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, Doctor, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you. And I wish you nothing but continued success. And we'll keep the porch light on for you. You're welcome back to the Jim Master Show live anytime.
Jim, thank you. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate the time and the plugs. Really appreciate it.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine. You put two New Yorkers together, and we can definitely chat. You
Let
put a
it rip.
put a pot of coffee on and hang for a little bit. It was a great conversation, Doctor, and best of the holidays. And we hope to have you back real soon. And thanks for
Yes,
all the
anytime.
great information. And congratulations again on the book.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Spread the word about our show. We would love that.
Absolutely.
All right. You take care.
You too. Good night now.
Good night. Dr. Fayne Frey here on the show, board certified dermatologist extraordinaire, skincare expert, and author of that fabulous new book. You're going to pick up a lot of great takeaways that she mentioned. The Skincare Hoax. Hopefully, we broke out some of those myths for you. And have you been tricked into buying all those lotions, potions, and wrinkle creams? And then, you look in the mirror and you're like, I did the night cream. How come I spent $50 on the night cream and nothing's happening at night? You're just twisting and turning, but you wake up in the morning and you expect, and it's not quite living up to what the beautiful label is saying. Well, there are a lot of good products out there. As the doctor said, there are a lot of good products out there and a lot of good things out there that you can get. It's just being armed with the education, the information that you don't have to, mortgage the house for all of the products. Just be very keen to what's good and the ingredients, what works for you. And, if there was any takeaway from the conversation on the show, sunscreen, 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 essential. Of all the things that you could be doing, sunscreen is the thing. And that might surprise you, right? Because you think of sunscreen, we were always told as kids, put the sunscreen on, or back then, suntan lotion, sunscreen on when you're going to be out in the sun, only when you're going to spend the day at the beach, go to the park, family gathering, whatever it is, going to go to a ball game and you're in the stadium outside under the sun, or a concert, walking in the park. So put the sunscreen on. She's saying do it daily, do it every single day, regardless of whether it's wintertime, spring, summer, or fall. And I have always heard that. So she's spot on with that. Have that sunscreen, drink the water. You don't have to have 50 gallons of water a day, but be hydrated, take care of yourself, eat right, exercise, a lot of the things that we always hear about, right? It's been, Maureen says, this has been a most excellent consult with Dr. Frey. I agree. And Kathleen says, thanks for another great show. Pleasure is all mine. Good questions you had for the doctor as well. We appreciate some of our viewers with some questions in this health and wellness lifestyle segment of our series here, the Jim Master Show Live. Again, here's that book. You can get it at Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Target and Walmart and all the great locations, wherever books are sold. And we thank the doctor for joining us here. There she is in her office. This was really fantastic, rich with content and information, and we appreciate her being here. Again, the website is FryFace. That's FRYFACE.com. You see it right there. So check that out and let her know you heard about it on the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series. Good to have all of you with us here on the show. I'm your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time. We don't say goodbye around here. We say take care. See you later. Ciao. Cheers. Sayonara. Shalom. Moi loop. Slancha. Be well. Don't forget to take care of one another. Love one another. And don't forget to take care of yourself. Be good to yourself, especially if you're a caretaker type, always taking care of everybody else. Make sure you take time for you. I always have to remind myself of that as well. And we brought this back recently in the beginning months of our series. We always used to show this relax sign that I got when we were on a family vacation in Newport, Rhode Island. It's close up there, 1920s, 1930s beach scene there in uh, Newport. I wonder how many of them had sunscreen on back in that time period and how many of them didn't. They probably made it in their basements back then. Relax, breathe, take care of one another, love one another, and don't forget to breathe from the diaphragm. And gang, with all the craziness going on, right now, this happens to be election day, so a lot of craziness going on. Relax, take care of yourself. If there's any takeaway for this episode, take care of yourself. The Skincare Hoax is also a great book for family members and friends as a gift. Folks who are spending a lot on all those lotions and potions and creams. Make sure that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Remember that. We've always said that, and it's so true. And everybody has beauty within them. And don't always judge a book by its cover, too. Look beyond. Look for the heart and soul. I think that's so important. So good stuff. You guys are the best. Thanks for being with us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live series. We're going to duck out. We're back tomorrow night. We've got an incredible guest. We have film and television star Nancy Harding, who is starring in a brand new Christmas movie. That's right. She's been on Lifetime. She's been on Hallmark. She was in the movie Cheaper by the Dozen. She was in Keeping Up with the Joneses. She's a legend, and she's here tomorrow night. Just booked today. She's here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Thanks for being with us, gang. We love you all. Take care and be well. Spread the word about our show. Don't forget to give this episode a like. There's a like. You see that big thumb there on our YouTube channel? There's a big thumb. Click like, leave a comment on the YouTube channel underneath this episode. And don't forget to subscribe to Jim Masters TV. This episode will be archived. So if you have somebody you think would also get great value in this episode, share it on your social media. You'll be able to watch this episode again 24/7 on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and share that levity, as we always say, and we really appreciate that. We'll see you on the next one, okay, gang? Jim Masters here, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, be well, take care, and thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. We love you all. Take care and be well. Cheers.